Okay, now we'll see the release testing. Release testing is nothing but the product is going to be in the leaving to the user. So where the application is going to get tested at the user end. So that is called as black box testing. Okay, so when it is getting released, there are so many flaws may be there because in hurry if it is going to be released, the testing is not going to be done properly. Hence those things are going to be called as beta testings. Okay, beta testing. Release testing is nothing but the intended delivery of the system, okay, to be given to the customer. Then that type of development is called as release testing. Then we have to ensure that the supplier convince the supplier saying that this application is good enough for the usage of the application. Okay. Then third point, if I am going to consider, here the testing is done as a black box testing process. Is nothing but the user is going to test or the customer is going to test in customer environment, not in the developer environment. It includes the system testing. So it is nothing but it is a part of the system testing. Release testing is part of the release system testing. The important difference between this system testing and release testing is that a separate test team is not going to be there for the testing the software. The developers itself, they are going to test this particular product in the system testing. System testing is called as the defect testing also. So here what happens, basically the developer is going to test his product in the focused manner based on the SRS. Okay. The objective of release testing is that it checks at the customer point of view, the validations are going to be tested properly. If it is not going to test properly validations, then it is not the good testing. Okay. So release testing, always it is going to have enough time for the external usage validation testing. It is based, requirements are going to be based on the testing. So sometimes what happens basically is requirements are going to be requirements based testing. It is going to be, means we will going to give some inputs. Okay, so for this only that you should test. Example is there, one example is being given from the Medicare system saying that the allergy is there for the patient and that it has been mentioned in the prescription. Okay, whenever that prescription comes, the warning has to be raised from the system user. If the prescriber chooses that particular allergy warning, he ignores, then the testing is going to be failure on. So when that particular prescriber chooses that, ignore that particular allergy warnings, so that why he has ignored that particular warning, so that he has to specify. Okay, that he has to specify. That is a requirements based testing. It is. Features are going to be tested by the scenarios. See, all these things I have discussed in the previous slides. Okay, authentication based logging. So that's what the admin login will be there, user login will be there, different. Okay, in our admin system. Okay, student login is different, HOD login is different, mentor login is different. Okay, then MR login is going to be different. This management login. So many step by step things are going to be different. Okay, so there is authentication based logging system. Whether it is nothing but scenario based, it is. Okay? Downloading, whether it is downloading is going to be downloading and uploading records is going to be allowed or not. So for that also approach is going to be there. Then home visit scheduling. These things are going to be comes under the your Medicare system only. Then encryption and decryption of the patient records in the Module4. So when the input is going to be taken from the patient and patient records are going to be modified, okay, based on the that recovery and all these things will be there. So whenever that is getting modified, so that data is going to be encrypted and it is sent to the their relatives. Okay, that information is going to be kept encrypted because it is highly secret. That information is going to be there because it should not be revealed to any other person. So for that, encryption is being done. The decryption is going to be done from the user point of view. Then we have record retrieval and modification. Any data, if you wanted to modify or retrieve the data, say for example in the bank they will going to ask you that KYC you have to fill. Okay, so what is KYC? The information is there, so that information it has to be modified. If you are transferring from one point to another point, that address is going to change, so that address has to get updated in that. Okay, some modifications will be done. So that time this is a scenario based testing it is going to be. Okay, links with the drugs database that maintains side effect information. Okay, so you should have some already the history is going to be taken from the patient and you'll be going to check for the addicted drugs. Okay, so if any allergies are there, those drugs are to be removed and other drugs it has to be given. So for that, links it has to be checked individually. The drug databases you have to check and you have to maintain it. Then lastly we have the system for call prompting. So if you are going to make any mistakes in the system, then you should raise some pop-up box saying that whatever you have been entered is wrong, and again you re-enter that particular thing. So that prompting is going to be done from the system side. Performance testing. Next, performance testing is nothing but how that system is getting executed, continuously executing or not. Then there should not be any failures in that. It should be reliable. These are the only two things that you should consider. Performance is nothing but n number of times that you are going to give the information. Okay, then it should perform properly. Output if it is being given, input if it is being given wrongly, still you should accept and you should say that this is the wrong information that you have been entered, so they should pop up the information. So such type of things that you should perform, and those tests are going to be the profile of the usage of the system. Means whenever that test is going to be done, it reflects the profile of the usage of the system. If n number of times the system is working and more number of errors you are going to get, so it is going to be profile building. It is so that system is whether it is performing properly or not. If n number of times you are going to work on that, if it is going to give the continuously the errors, then it is wrong. So those things are going to be tested and it is documented. Performance tests involves planning of series of tests. That's what I said. Continuous tests are going to be done steadily and increased manner that it should be given. Then here what happens basically is we are testing for the repetitive tests with the same or different data that we are going to make it. Stress testing is going to be done in this. Stress testing is more input will be given and that time whether the system is going to be withstand to the existing environment or not. If it is not, the test is failed. If it accepts, so till failure that you have to perform the task, then that is the maximum limit that is going to be get accepted by the system.